Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for round number 7 for the Canadian Grand Prix. But if you guys did miss the last race for the Monaco Grand Prix, then do check out the episode. It went out late last night, so do check out that video in the top right hand corner of your screen. But as you can see, for this race weekend we have a little bit more rain expected once again for the second race in a row. This time not as much, but there is still rain expected for the start of the race tomorrow. Also, just a bit of an update for you guys. As you can see, in the last episode of Monaco, we did have a fouled front wing upgrade, and we didn't actually fix it for this race. I probably will do it for this one, because also after Monaco, I actually beat one of the team goals. So as you can see in the top right corner, we've got so many R&D points saved up. So at the end of this episode, we're going to go on a massive spending spree, and we're going to really bring a massive upgrade package for the next couple of races. And also, speaking of upgrades, as you can see, currently we haven't moved in terms of our position, but Mercedes have brought an upgrade, and we're looking very, very close now with them. It really is. It's looking so close between us and Mercedes, my former team, and then you kind of got a top 5 there, and the field is extremely competitive this year. I can't explain to you guys how close it is, and really the only people bringing upgrades for this race were actually the lower half of the table team. So Force India, Toro Rosso and Williams, they're bringing some upgrades of their own. But nonetheless, we jump into qualifying here on Saturday at the circuit de Gilles Villeneuve here at Canada, Montreal, and off the bat I can tell you guys, we did 3 runs in qualifying as always. However, the best run was actually my first one, so we're going to run on board for the full lap of the Montreal circuit, and that's going to be my best qualifying lap of the session. My other 2 weren't as good because I made 2 errors which led to corner cuts, and basically my lap got invalidated. So I'll show you all that in a moment's time, but first of all, let's get to grips with the track here and let's see how things go. I love this track, Canada. It really is a good track to race on. I absolutely love it. It's really good fun, and we've got a good setup on. However, I could notice already after practice, Monaco was, it makes you realise how much of a high point Monaco was, because we went back down to our kind of usual pace here, and we're a long way off the top. We really are, as we will see in a moment's time. But nonetheless, let's run on board here for a full lap of the circuit, and let's see how this goes. Straight away, overtake ERS to maximise your straight line speed down the main straight as we go into turn 1, down a couple of gears, down to gear number 4, and then gear 3, and then gear 2 for turn 2. Make sure you focus on your traction and exit speed out there as we go up a little hill, and now we start to go downhill through the first of various chicanes at this circuit. First of all, with a right-left combo, tapping the wall. They're very lucky to not lose my front wing, and now flat out through the right, and we're a couple of tenths down through sector 1 as we now go through a left-right chicane combination here, getting good traction on the exit there through the right, opening up the DRS on the back straight. And now we look for the break point underneath the shadow on the bridge here for the right-left chicane. We missed our apex a little bit for the first one, run a bit deep, and it really compromises my line on the exit, and it really dictates a lack of speed down this back straight as we now go into the hairpin, braking just after the 100-meter board, down to first gear. Have patience, pick up the rotation, and then also have a lot of patience on the throttle. Take your time, because it's important to get good traction out there and really maximise your straight line speed down the straight, using the overtake ERS to really speed up and really maximise the top end speed. As we now go into the final chicane, you want to really throw it in there and have full commitment. Make sure you don't invalidate your lap time. I kind of cut a little bit, and I was quite lucky to not get an invalidation, but we're now running out to the line, keeping to the right hand side for the shortest run to the line, and we do go P6 behind Alonso at the time. So not a bad opening lap, but then obviously people would improve and we would drop down a P13. And like I said, my other 2 runs, I cut the corners, and it was the exact same corner twice in a row. It was that left-hander there just after the chicane. I absolutely got the apex perfectly for the right-hander, but then I carried too much speed and I pushed my luck on the left, and I kept on overdoing it. As you'll see here again, I was on for a really good lap, and I was up half second on both of these attempts, and I threw it away at the exact same point on both laps, and it was so close, but it was a corner cut, and you kind of have to just accept the fact that you got it wrong. And as you can see, we are P16 here in the top left hand corner of your screen, so this is not looking good for us, because we've now run out of hypersofts, we've run out of fuel, and pretty much it's the end of our session, guys. So a very poor qualifying session, 1.3 off the pace. We just didn't have the pace today. We really just struggled with the car, and I reckon at best we maybe could have got within 8 tenths, so maybe P8, but that's about it really. I'm struggling to see anything beyond that, because the car just didn't have the pace. Simple as that. The other cars were faster than us, and generally speaking, we did what we could. And the target was to beat Alonso. We should have done that, but unfortunately we kept on cutting the corners. So yeah, we just have to make do what we got, and hopefully with the rain tomorrow at the start of the race, we can maybe try and get a spanner in the works and hopefully be pretty good on strategy. With that being said, let's jump into it here for the Canadian Grand Prix.
We're We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on a circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Romain Grosjean. Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Marcus Ericsson starts from pole position today, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Bottas, and Sergio Perez, Alonso, Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, Martinez, Gasly, Hartley, Sergei Sirotkin, and Lewis Hamilton. Stroll and Romain Grosjean starts from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the Canadian Grand Prix. We start the race from P14, and not a good qualifying, has to be said. Hopefully we can have better fortune in the race, and fingers crossed not as many corner cuts, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully with these wet conditions like in Monaco last time, that will give us a chance to really make our way through the pack. Then pretty much when we transition to dry, it's all about maintaining that position pretty much, and fingers crossed that's exactly what happens. In terms of the race strategy though, as you can see, rain for the first part of the race and dry conditions for the rest, so I don't think we're going to be on the inters too long. Fuel wise, I'm going 1.5 laps over, not too heavy or too light, because the rain is going to be a factor where we do save some fuel while it's still wet. So with that being said, let's just jump into it here and let's see how it goes. Fingers crossed we can try and be aggressive and make our way into the top 10 nice and early and then take it from there. But with that being said, let's jump into it here. It's time for round 7 for the Canadian Grand Prix. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs, get them into the sweet spot. The 5 red lights are on and they are off. Very quick valve lights. But we are away here at Canada. Good start, but I'm kind of boxed in here on the outside. Nowhere to go really. Just going to have to wait and be patient. Ocon and Magnussen side by side here, both of these guys. Just going to try and see if I can maybe pick them off here. Little tank stopper there, but good traction. We are going to find the grip and we're going to get past Kevin Magnussen here. Down the inside. Good move, job done. Alonso up front with Perez in front of him. Wow, look at the speed there. Coming from so far back. But we are going to go down the inside of my teammate and make that move definitively. P11 already on the cusp of points. As Alonso drops back behind Magnussen with that overtake. So, sorry Fernando, but you know, got to do what I've got to do. Got to do some recovering here. Perez though, he currently stands between us and a point scoring position. So let's get a head screwed on straight and try and chase him down. Maybe out the hairpin, that might be an opportunity. We try to run deep. I want to try and bring the nose back in. That's the traction I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at that. That's it. That's exactly what I was looking for. Beautiful move on Perez. And we are now into the top 10 in this race. A very strong opening lap in the wet conditions. And now it's all about composure. We've done the dirty work. We're now into the top 10. So now it's about patience, composure, and trying to make our way one by one up through the field. Good exit out the hairpin. Can we get the run on the Mercedes? Is that possible? We're gaining. No DRS. We are catching Bottas though, but not close enough. Into the chicane. Oh, that's very close. Almost running to the back of Bottas there. We're going to get a poor exit, so we can't capitalise. But I like this. Feels good so far. Car feels competitive in these conditions. It's only going to last another 5 minutes, so we need to make it count while it's still wet. But for now, we're looking good here. Really happy with how the car's looking at the minute. Back end's a little bit happy. We've got to be very careful on traction. Otherwise, we're going to absolutely cook my tyres. But other than that, we're looking good. Another good exit out of the hairpin. This time, we're even closer. This could be the one here. We're going to get the run on Valtteri. Come on, McLaren, you've got this. Come on. Come on. To the inside. It's very close, but we are going to make it stick. Track extension in the process, but I don't really care. Move done. P9, and we are past Bottas with another personal best in the process. We've got good pace here. I'm happy with this. I think we need to make this count, so I'm going to keep on going and being aggressive. Both of the Renaults are up next. Sainz first. Let's go hunt him down. Good traction there. We are starting to put the pressure on Sainz already. I think he's already starting to feel it. I've selected Ultra Softs. Ultra selected for my first stop of the race. I don't think there's going to be another interesting. I can see the track's already visibly drying out, even though the rain is still falling. I reckon if we can get a good exit out of the hairpin, I should be able to have a run at Sainz come the end of this lap. Good exit, although Sainz has a good exit of his own. Let's see what the Renault is like compared to the Mercedes. Oh, this is much easier. Easy pickings, Renault versus Renault power. Down the inside. On the brakes, into the chicane this time. No track extension warning as we get the move done. Tax lap on the exit for good measure as the rain now stops falling here at Canada. And we are P8 up next. Nico Hulkenberg. Let's make this progress. We need to cash in on these conditions as long as they last. So it's important to stay aggressive and really use these tyres. Right, I might come in here. The track doesn't feel good. Oh, okay. Look at that. Everyone's coming in. Okay. This is it then. Let's go into the pit lane. Let's get this. And there you go. DRS enabled. So literally, I said I felt a little bit, not great through the hairpin. The track got up really quick through the hairpin. It felt really slippery, and I was like, I'm not really sure. And all of a sudden, I just saw everyone come in. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Here we go. No hold-ups. Come on, no hold-ups, please. Get me out. Oh no, it's gonna not do me any favours. We're P9. We've gone for the super soft. So I've changed the strategy. Like I mentioned, I'm going to try and get rid of the slow tyre early. So we might be down on pace early on compared to those around us. Grip is not there off the line. Got to be careful. Give the racing line the respect it deserves. If I have good pace in this first phase with these super softs, then I should be with the advantage later on the ultras. So let's hope that these supers do the trick and I can get away with these now. Currently P9, so already done a pit stop and we're 9th. We should be able to undercut everyone that's coming in this lap who stayed out an extra lap on the inters. So let's go up to Rich Mix and hot lap DRS and let's try and make some progress here, but it's definitely dry tyres. Hulkenberg's all over the back of Ocon there. He's kind of got caught up with him as well, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time and give me the chance to really close the gap here and get close. Ocon, you can see, is visibly struggling. As we find the traction out the hairpin, we're going to just breeze past him. Ocon leaving me minimal room, but we are going to get past. Overtake ERS now engaged, along with DRS to try and maximise the straight line speed. Leclerc setting the pace. Track is definitely ready for dryers as we get a good run through the chicane, and DRS a little bit out of shape, but we're going to continue on here. There we go, not too bad. Purple final sector as we got Raikkonen leaving the pit lane there. We're currently P6 in this race now. After all those pit stops, we are 6th on super soft tyres, so that's worked out beautifully, just basically following the AI into the pit lane. And I wouldn't have actually come in that lap, even though it felt horrible. Visibly, it didn't seem like it. There was a lot of spray on track still. Somehow, I just went with what the AI were doing, because I know the AI never get it wrong, and it paid off, so happy days. But now we've got Ricciardo on me here. He's going to have DRS, as do I, but he's in the much faster ultra soft tyres. Just going to let Ricciardo take that one for now. Oh, that's an awkward line through there. Ricciardo kind of came back into the apex and racing line. Now Ericsson's on me here. Come on, come on, come on. Composure, composure. Into the hairpin. Let's try and keep Ericsson at bay for as long as we can. I should have DRS on Ricciardo, so that should give me a chance to get back at him. Although Ericsson is going to be so fast in that Sauber on the straight. Look at that. Look at that Sauber go. That's absolutely ridiculous. Ericsson and Ricciardo are going to take weird lines into the chicane. I'm going to find the traction. DRS. Here we go. Ericsson powers past. Can we follow him through? It's very, very close. Oh my god, this is so close. Ericsson and Ricciardo going at it. I'm just going to sit here and wait. I'm not on the best tyre, so let's just let them scramble it out and we can maybe pick up the scraps. Oh, that's very close to Ricciardo. Brake checking mid-corner there. Probably the only person on the super soft, so that'll be a good thing once the race comes back to me later on, hopefully. I've got good pace on these, that's the important thing here. Sainz on the back of me here. I've had a poor exit. I think Sainz is going to overtake me. Yep, that's Sainz through. And now Bottas as well. Dropping like a stone here at the minute. Not because I'm slow, it's just the way the AI have caught up to me. It's made it really awkward. Bottas locks up. We're going to go back up the inside. Come on, let's try and keep the Mercedes at bay at least. Bottas, they give me a little love tap. It's going to be a drag race with the Mercedes. What we like for straight line speed. Oh yes, that's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. McLaren. That's the ticket right there. Good chicane, and that should allow us to stay in front of Bottas. Hopefully now we can stay nice and comfortable, stability, and try and follow Sainz as we set a personal best. So far I'm able to keep up with Sainz here, which is good. Purple final sector actually. Good pace. So sector 1 and 3 is fine. It's sector 2 where I lose a lot of time. There's traction zones. But the main thing is that we're staying with these guys. I mean, Ericsson and Ricciardo are not that far away, so that's good as well. Right, we're hanging in there, just about. We're having to really push on the limit, but we're hanging in there. Looking good for points at the minute, and also tyre-wise as well. Hulkenberg is just a few corners up the road. If the gap stays like this, I'll be happy with that once we go into the ultra softs. Personal best, 10.3. Once again, starting to close up the Sainz here. It feels like the AI have kind of turned down the engine a little bit. They were running a high engine mode at first when we transitioned to the dries, but now it seems like they're running a more standard pace. And we're coming up to a yellow flag zone here. Some things happen. And also Ericsson and Ricciardo are battling really heavily, and it's a slow Red Bull Max Verstappen. Oh wow, he pulls over. That's P8 for us.
Information on Verstappen. They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
There you have it then, Verstappen out of the Canadian Grand Prix. And we are starting to really put some pressure on now. 8th place. And we've got 3 cars on the same straight with Hulkenberg on the pit straight. And Ricciardo Ericsson really duking it out here heavily. This is my opportunity now because the Ultras are starting to fade a little bit. And the race is starting to come to me now. So this is it. This is what I said about the supersides. If I could get through the bad period and come out the other side, we've done most of the hard work now. I can hold on to this now because obviously the guys in the Ultras are starting to suffer on their tyres. We've managed to survive the initial phase where they were fast on their fresh tyres and they all got past me. But they're all still relatively within range. So now we can prepare those last few laps on these tyres and how we're going to face them so that we can stay in this race, because at the minute a top 5 finish is looking on the cards and I want to make sure I cash in on that. I didn't see that coming after qualifying yesterday. Bottas has dropped off, which is kind of telling that the Ultras might be starting to fade, and we should probably start considering maybe passing Sainz, which I could have done to be fair a couple laps ago. I've just been kind of happy to sit behind him and pick up the RS, but having seen where Ricciardo and Ericsson are, it might be showtime. Here we go then. Sainz doesn't have DRS, so he's going to be quite vulnerable. We're going to gain all the gap back on the straight, and now we're going to try and line him up here for the pit straight, if possible. Through the chicane, very close. A bit dirty here, they give me some understeer, but we're going to power through. DRS open up a little bit late. Into turn 1. Around the outside, we have plenty more grip on these tyres. Power down. There it is. Textbook move, and we are past Carlos Sainz. We are now P7 in the Canadian Grand Prix. Decent progress. Let's try and close up to Ricciardo. Alonso pits. That could be a sign that it might be time for the ultra soft runners to come off their tyres. We've opened up a gap to Sainz, which is important. 1.8. I'm also curious to see if AI go for supers or ultras, because the longer they go, the more I'm starting to think they might go for ultra softs again. So I'm kind of hoping they're pitting now, to be honest. Okay, looks like they're pitting in. Ricciardo stays out for one more. We're scheduled to come in now, like lap 21, so let's see how this all pans out. Looks like they've all gone for ultras again, which is a little bit annoying considering how long I went on these. But I don't really want to go hypers. Hypers aren't a great tyre. They can overheat very easily, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. Vettel rejoins behind us, but we should be able to keep him behind for now. Although I don't think we're going to be able to keep him for long, keep behind for much longer. This back straight is going to be the one where he passes me straight away, especially on fresh ultras. I'm not even going to fight it. I'm going to let him go. Let him go on the left-hand side, because the AI drive better when they pass you around the outside. If you let them go on the inside, they will compromise their own line for the next corner, and that's going to absolutely ruin your overall pace. So Here we go. Into the hairpin. Let's just prepare ourselves for a stop this lap, because there's no point even, trying to go for the hypers. We should just play it safe. We've got, track position over Sainz and Bottas. Let's try and catch Ricciardo on track on the same tyre, because, if we can keep up pace with this tyre, we should be able to do the same on the Ultra. Slow it down. There we go. That's a good pit entry. Very happy with that. Right. Here we go. I need a good pit entry, and that we've done that. Now I need a good pit stop and hopefully then a good pit exit. Ricciardo's going to get held up by Sainz, which is good. So that might give us a chance to close the gap. Here we go. Into the pit box. Come on. 2.4. Let me go. Let me go. Oh, not the best. We've lost time. Look at that. Sainz is right on my arse. Terrible stop. We could have been released ages ago. For some reason, they thought Ricciardo was much closer, I think. Which is a little bit annoying. Out of the way. Fresh ultras. Up to speed now. Let's try and pull away from Sainz if we can and open up the 1 second gap once more. Okay, Sainz and Bottas exchanging positions at the final chicane. That gives me the time to pull away now. The AI lose so much time whenever they go side by side through that final chicane. So we've got the gap now very easily. Now let's see if we have the pace to catch up to Ricciardo. If not, I'll take P7. I mean, I'd be happy with that, to be honest. I would have taken that at the start of the race. Wow, a 109.4. That's only 4/10 off Sebastian Vettel's pace. So we're quick on these tyres. I've got to say, these tyres do feel absolutely phenomenal compared to the super softs. Seems like everyone's relatively equally paced, because we're not really making inroads to Ricciardo, and I'm being consistent with my lap times. I'm matching my personal best pretty much every lap. So at the minute, all I can see is this P7, to be honest, and not much more, but I'm not too disappointed with that. I just want to pretty much fast cut to the finish now, because I hate doing laps when I'm by myself and lonely, pretty much.
Some information on Hulkenberg. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Look at that, Ericsson's in the pit lane. So Ericsson couldn't make it on the Ultras. And Hulkenberg, who's up the road, has got a car trouble. And also Ricciardo lost a hell of a lot of time with these two Williams cars in front. So this isn't over just yet. We're P6 in this race now, out of nowhere. And there could be more to come. Okay, both of the Williams cars are battling here. This is going to make things very awkward for me. When it comes to lapping them. Oh my god. Ooh, wow. Whew. Well, that sweat off my brow. That was a bit too close to comfort. Oh my days. I think it's worth talking about the power unit. This is my 7th race with this engine. And look how well it's held up. It really has done a good job. And after this will be the last race with this engine, because we can put a new one in. So it really has done the miles, this engine. I'm really, really happy with it. The performance is good and the reliability is great. But imagine the performance with the brand new engine in the next race. I cannot wait. I'm so stoked. And I think it's going to be absolutely great for us in terms of really helping us out this season. Right, then we're catching up to the struggling Nico Hulkenberg here. P5 finish on the cards. I did not see that one coming one bit before this race started. That's a corner cut and a half that was, but we're just going to gloss over that. Somehow the game did not penalise me for it. And here we go, regaining in the slipstream. Down the inside of the Hulk at turn 1. Yes, please. Just about enough room. Around the outside, we've got the grip. And there we go, P5 in the Canadian Grand Prix. Wow. Incredible. Really incredible. I'll be so happy if I bring this home. 3 laps to go. Right, to the hairpin then. It's been a great race. From P14 to P5. Very, very good recovery. Last race with this power unit. We'll get a new engine on the car for the next race, along with a huge upgrade package. I cannot wait to jump into the upgrades now on the R&D screen. So here we go, through the chicane. Nice and easy this time around. Make sure we have no mistakes. And there we go, P5. That even deserves a bit of a celebratory review for me, because that was a decent recovery from a very poor qualifying, and I really didn't think we had the pace, but luckily we turned it around, and damage limitation for the championship, not bad at all.
That's it for another Grand Prix, and a fantastic win for Sauber. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Looks like they're on their way out to the podium now, and what a result this is, and what a popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Sauber team on top here today.
Right, so as you can see, looking at the final race results, Leclerc dominates at Canada. Fair play, 12-second gap to Sebastian Vettel in second, and then 17 seconds to Raikkonen, and then it's a huge gap of 29 seconds to Ricciardo. And we come home P5. Very happy with that. Really, that was a good race. We outperformed the car, and I've got no complaints about that. We beat Hulkenberg, Sainz, Ericsson, Bottas, and Magnussen to the remaining points, and then Hamilton P11 just outside the points, along with my teammate Fernando Alonso, who also finished just outside the points in P12. And look at that. Alonso was the last man to not get lapped, and he was 30 seconds behind me. So, yeah, pretty incredible stuff. And then everybody else got lapped. A really strong race from Leclerc. He was dominant today. And Verstappen retiring from the Grand Prix. But in terms of what that race means for the Drivers' Championship, no real big changes here in the top half of the table, except for the Renault swapping round and Bottas getting past Hamilton. However, we do remain 5th, but we do close the gap to Vettel in terms of we're closer to Sebastian than what we are to Verstappen, I believe, now. Actually, no, it's 13 points each way, so we've actually pulled away from Verstappen now, which is good. So that's good news for us. And also Leclerc, 37 points, clear at the top. He's really putting on a show early on this season. And in terms of the constructors, you can see Ferrari re-overtake Sauber, but they are equal on points. And Raikkonen and Vettel sharing the points there, much better than Ericsson and Leclerc are at the minute. And we're currently a very comfortable P4. However, Renault are 3 points behind after getting at both of their cars in the low end of the points. But let's try and hold on to that 4th place if we can. And by doing that, we're going to have to get some big upgrades on the car. And that's what we're going to do now by jumping into the R&D screen.
You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? We all underestimated you, didn't we? It wasn't your rival's day today, was it? Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash? Appreciate your time.
Right guys, so here we are on the laptop. Now first of all, we're going to replace the engine, and we're going to change the components that have a third component. So the IC is going to get a change, the MGU-H as well, and also the turbocharger. The other 3 components obviously need to stay on for a little bit longer until round 10 or 11 pretty much. So that's the engine changed. Now we're going to go into the R&D. We have 2,469 points to spend. It's time to really push this McLaren. So here we go, straight to the engine. In my opinion, I want engine power. That's all we need. We need more juice. So we're going to go straight away for the spark plugs. That's going to take a week to arrive. And also the cylinder head, which is going to give us more engine power. We're going to get those in the car straight away. That's going to improve us over Haas and make us the 3rd best engine. We still have 1,400 points to burn. So we're going to get the failed upgrade, which should have arrived for the last race. And along with that, we've got a couple of options here. And most of them are rear downforce related. So I'm kind of looking at these, and this one's a major one. So I reckon if I look at the aero, we are kind of 6th. That's not too bad. We're mid-table, but in the chassis, we're 3rd from bottom. So the chassis does need some work. And looking at what the options are, we do have pretty much all the major ones to get. So I'm kind of looking at this and thinking to myself, right, we maybe should invest in a major one. I could improve tyre wear, which would help us out. But realistically speaking, I think the major one's going to be needed. So we're going to go for the major and get that on the car for the rear floor under tray. And we have 402 points to spend, which is going to be a little bit too much to buy any other upgrades in the chassis. What about the aero? Can we sneak in one more? No, we can't. So that's fair enough. We'll just sit on that. What about durability? Can we get anything here? Turbocharger, gearbox maybe? No, that's too expensive. Right, okay, so pretty much we're going to save those 400 points and spend those in the next episode, and we'll probably do some aerodynamic work. But we've got a nice big upgrade package. You can see in the bottom right there, that's going to really help us take a big step forward and pretty much go neck and neck with Haas if we're lucky. So I'm looking forward to it. Combined with the new engine, we should be a lot more competitive in France. We're still a long way off the top, but we are making big strides here. And yeah guys, hopefully these upgrades do pay off and we do improve. But nonetheless, if you did enjoy this episode of Career Mode, then please do drop a like on the video, guys. Also, get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content and turn on notifications to not miss a single upload from me. Finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.